Greetings, I'm Suzanne Titkemeyer from No Longer Quivering, and you're catching me on the end of two very crazy, busy, insano days here. Yesterday I was gone all day because I had to do my every 6 weeks or so run to Costa Rica's version of Costco, which is a place called Price Mart. They have all the same things, all the same American foods, all the same everything you would find in Costco. It is a lifesaver when you're living overseas to find a place where you can get things that from the States, because typically we don't do that because it's usually costly, but at Costco it's actually pretty reasonably priced. Okay, let's go right into this. I wanted to, I should have named this video Rumor Control, because that's what it is. We're doing rumor control today. Seeing rumors, people are contacting me. I'm just gonna talk about it. Oh, there was my cat, Sticky. Long story short, Larry Solomon is not the same guy as Steven Anderson. I am seeing this all over Reddit and other places. People are speculating that Larry Solomon's blog, Biblical Gender Roles, is written by Steven Anderson. No, it is not. Larry Solomon is a guy by the name of Larry, whose last name I do have, but I'm not going to say because I don't want to give Larry any opportunity to try and sue me, which he's threatened to do several times now after I exposed who he really is. He's just a very average middle-class guy, middle-aged guy from Warren, Michigan. He's balding on top, like all of us who are middle-aged. He's and older. He's a little, adipose tissue going on. He's not crazy-ass Steven Anderson who's running around barefoot, who's jogging barefoot in the desert. No. Not even remotely the same. They don't even agree on the same religions. I would say that biblical gender roles is more of a theonomist who's gone off the deep end, trying to justify his porn use, his love of teenage girls, and his desire to have more than one wife. Yeah, he's really all about the polygamy. He pushes that hard. And what's interesting about Larry recently is he has opened 2 more blogs. Larry has Biblical Sex, which is not very biblical at all. If you go read it, it's like, don't read it on a weak stomach. That's all I can say. Because if you do, you're going to end up throwing up. Larry's got some disgusting ideas about sex. None of it involves a pleasure for the woman. It all is about Larry's penis, if he can find it. That's all I'm going to say. Anderson is just crazy with hatred. He doesn't even address the same sort of things as Larry. Larry! Sorry, Larry makes me laugh. Larry's the most ridiculous. Anderson is the scariest. Anderson is not leaving the Tempe area. He's not leaving Faithful Word Baptist Church. He's just moving to a bigger house in Tempe. I was thinking he was leaving just by some of the stuff Susanna was saying, his wife, but no, she's now admitted they're staying in the Tempe area. They're getting a bigger house, which makes me wonder if maybe social services said, well, there's residency laws here about square footages when they were looking at the family over Anderson's sons saying inappropriate things to young girls online. I'm sure at some point social services came in and said something similar to that, and they're complying. Who knows? Maybe they're just upgrading. Maybe I'm just reading more into this than I should. Anyway, the other thing that I think is really interesting right now is we have Jill Duggar Dillard, who the other day had herself a pina colada, a full liquored pina colada, a good one. I had one this morning. Is 11 too early to drink a pina colada on the beach? I hope not, because I had one. It was delicious. You go, girl. You go, Jill. You do all the things that your father thinks are demonic that your husband thinks aren't, including have as many pina coladas as you want. I'm not going to talk about that. I don't care. You have your drinks. But apparently every other gossip blogger in the world has, and she made subtle shade today at all of them. And I had to laugh because she was talking about her coffee order and say, "You're going to talk about my coffee now?" That really made me laugh, especially since it seemed sort of like an FU that was leveled at a certain video blogger that likes to criticize all those people. And is fighting right now with everybody and their brother. I'm getting ready to go into another chat. Well, not a chat, another video. BX Beast Boy is doing a story that I find really interesting on our least favorite video blogger on YouTube. She is claiming, what is she claiming? She's claiming that Janelle Evans, who's from some reality show that I don't watch called Teen Mom, who called out a bunch of bloggers yesterday for lying. The ones, and she called this lady out too. Her take on it was to immediately go after the one black blogger in the bunch and say that Janelle was being racist. Well, I saw the videos too, and I don't think Janelle was being racist at all. She called out three bloggers. Two are white, one are black. And one of the two white bloggers called out, decided that this is all racist. I don't know what kind of planet she's living on, but it sure did not look racist from here. It just looks like more crazy distraction to try to keep people away from the fact that she outed a child rape victim that the courts have said do not talk about, that she went ahead and talked about. And then when she got pushed back, she started talking about her own sexual abuse story. Now, many of us have those stories. Most of us don't monetize them and endlessly talk about them, and most of them do not go to the family's websites, attack the family, link to the family, and all of that. Let's not do that. I just want to say today, let's give sexual abuse survivors the chance to heal in the space without talking about it. They're not tea, they're not gossip. They're people that are trying to find their way through the rest of their lives, having lived through something, truly horrific. Most of these stories that I've heard, and I've heard a lot of them through the years at NLQ, they're horrific. And no one's pain is anybody else's clicks and coins. We just kind of have to say that. And I just want to say that let's use some common sense on who we're gossiping about here, too. It's like the whole Jill Duggar Dillard thing. I feel for Jill. She's really had a tough road to hoe, and she's starting to come out. She's starting to survive and do well. But that takes a lot of therapy, and it takes a lot of time. I always like to say when people come out of the new IFB, which is what Steven Anderson does, that they usually end up in the IFB. And then people coming out of the IFB usually flip over to why am I drawing out John Piper? And people that flip out of John Piper and fall out and start recovering, they turn around and go to various other people, John Author, whatever. And it's this endless stream of moving through the different cult-like things and healing. Now, I did want to say something, since I have a good stream today, what I was trying to talk about the other day, which is Michael Cohen's book and Jerry Falwell Jr. and Becky Falwell. I have since read the entire book, and I would urge you to read it. It's interesting. It's an eye-opening reveal. But the thing that really struck me the hardest about the whole thing is that the book, I agree. Jill needs Michael Cohen's book. Michael pointed out that what happened to him was very much like years. It's not just a cult. It's what happens when you go through the whole Evan cult. You fall into Steven Anderson's church or worse, and you end up on this treadmill. Count them, 5 cases of COVID right here in Tamarindo, which is a tiny little community that has had but 3 cases in the past. All 3 of them came out of a store that all the crunchy yoga mamas were going to, that doesn't believe in masking at all, spreading the virus. But the government shut that down, and now we've got 5 cases that nobody knows how they contracted it. I got to spend the weekend in San Jose, which does have high COVID rates. But I stayed in the hospital in my husband's room the entire time, except the one time when I went out to get something from Uber Eats. I don't know what COVID has done where you are, but here what it has done is completely changed the healthcare system in a bad way. In the past, I've gone to this hospital before for myself or my husband, and they do really well. Right now, they did not. They were struggling to even do stuff like have enough people working there to provide your needs. And it was just simple, silly things. Like one time I asked for a towel so I could take a shower, and they said, we don't, yeah, my phone doesn't like it either. Anyway, long story short, they couldn't even give me a towel. They said, number one, we're short on supplies. They're doing crazy inventories, and we don't have anyone to spare to give you a towel, of all stupid things. For several hours, they kept promising me one. They didn't bring one. It was just little stupid snafus like that. It was dealing with the hostile security guard at the front door. I've never dealt with that there before. There's just so many stupid little things. I did not have a no bueno experience. I had a no bueno experience at the hospital this time. And I know it's all COVID. I mean, you could just tell they're shorthanded, they're short supplied, they're stretched thin. And I feel for anybody who has to work in the healthcare industry right now, because there's just not enough supplies going around. So I'm under quarantine. I have to stay home pretty much, because yesterday I went back out into the red zone. So you may be seeing a lot of me, including I'm going to do a couple more videos. I'm going to start watching Katie Joy because of her tendency to just jump on Duggar gossip and turn it into something it is not. And I'm thinking about doing a live stream daily on living in Costa Rica, because that's a whole different ballgame. I'm actually working on a book about that, because it's not all Pura Vida. There's a dark side to the Pura Vida. And if you understand how to get here and how to navigate, you can do well. You can love it here. You can love it. I had a breakfast on the beach with a pina colada. Very comfortable climate, wonderful people, but the strangest culture that I've ever encountered. And I lived in Germany and in Turkey for some time. This was just odd. Okay, you guys, I'm going to go. I can't believe I've talked this long. The last time I talked this long, it was. I can't believe I've talked this long. The last time I talked this long, it was about